Welcome to Brightly, you radiant being, the show that wildly recognizes, encourages, and invests in the radiance we all carry so you can shine your brightest. Each episode, we use our good and bad experiences, friendship, and passions to inspire thought provoking conversation and soul driven advice to better help you create a life worth living and step more brightly into yourself, inch by inch.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what I just realized with us, with this being our second episode back from break?
What?
We didn't have our pre-show meeting on my show.
I know. And I'm looking at my notes, your notes for me, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah, they're not for you.
But
They're
I
just
no, it's fine. I figured it out though, anyways.
well, we've talked about this off air though before, which is why it became a show. And I recently saw a TikTok where somebody alluded to getting winks from the universe. And my favorite show of ours that we've ever done is episode 56, Signs. We just giggled our way through that one. It
It
was so
was
much fun.
so much fun. Yeah.
Um, but throughout that episode, everyone learned, yourself included, your girl's a little intense and a little crazy when it comes to her relationship with the universe. Is a bit of a crush. Does he really like me? Does he not? What does this mean? What does this mean? Over analysis paralysis, and that
I love it that you call it a crush. I have a
crush,
crush on the
crush.
universe.
I think it likes me. Do you think it likes me back?
I think he likes you.
Likes me. Um, but so the episode signs, we both have asked the universe for signs at times, and you have a great story about a fox, so go back to episode 56 to hear more about it. But it's gotten to the point, I think, for each of us, as well as what I see of like-minded individuals on social media, that we're now inundated with certain signs, seeing numbers, seeing angel numbers, seeing things that once meant something to us or we asked for, either because our brains are braining, right? And like you buy a Ford Flex and now all you see are Ford Flexes on the road, right? Kind of a thing, or you want something and now think everybody has it. But also, like, we also feel like the universe or tarot cards, whatever, is just like thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. And it just got like so stressy, depressy to be like, what does this mean? Just like, why? What does it mean? Does it mean anything? And instead, I'm gonna go from stressy, depressy to delightfully delulu. And
Delulu.
that's the kids speak for delusional. If you,
Is it really
oh
though?
yeah,
Seriously? Oh, I
I
love
think
that.
so.
Delulu.
Delulu.
I How do you do? I'm Delulu.
I'm Delulu. Nice to meet you, Delulu. I'm Trix. No, but instead of, signs, I feel like we have to interpret. We have to know what they mean. We have to ask for them. If we don't get them or we don't notice them, then something we want or didn't want is either confirmed or not confirmed. And it's so
Yeah.
much pressure for something that's so magical. And so this new mindset of a wink is more, I don't know, more like, oh, hey, I like you. I like you.
Yeah, I love that. And also today, before we recorded our first episode, we decided we'd come back at 4:45. And I happened to be walking through the kitchen, looked at our atomic clock, and it was 4:44. And
4:44.
I just went like this. Thanks.
Well, can I share with you my little like Scoogle Crush excitement
Yeah.
when planning this episode this weekend?
Yeah.
Amy, this is episode 123, which I like my sequence, but guess when it
Yes.
posts? It's going live on 1023, which is essentially 123.
That's kind of amazing.
It's like the universe going, hey girl, hey, we see you. We know you like this. Here's a little smile for your day. Right? I don't have to be like, oh my gosh, 123 on 123. What episode should I do? What is this?
No, that is so cool because I think we even um when we were planning out the next few shows, we were like, should we do this then or this then? Like we were figuring things out, not looking at the number
I
that the
hadn't
show
numbered
would be.
anything yet.
No,
It
no.
moved around so much for the next, 6 to 10 weeks. And then
That's
even after we
amazing,
talked.
Tracy. I love this so much.
And so I was like, oh, I'm so fun that episode one, or oh, I'm so glad episode 1, 2, 3 is a fun episode. Let's just have fun with it, right? Like, because I think for episode 111, where we're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And then you're like, what
Mhm.
do we do? Like, it went from being exciting, like we're gonna have episode 111 to like,
Pressure, like you were
yeah,
talking about. It's stress and pressure.
stress and pressure. And
Mm.
so, yeah, so this new mindset of a wink, the universe is winking at you. Instead of feeling passive aggressive thoughts, now it's I'm so special. I'm so special. I saw this license plate today just for me. Imagine all the things that had to line up in the world today for me to get this license plate. I don't care what questions I have. I don't care what answers I need. The universe is on my side. I'm
You
I'm
know, I really love that, especially after the last episode. I really love this Delulu and not stressy depressy. And it's just like, hey,
hey, it's a little like joy nudge, right? Like,
oh, I love it.
um, right? Like it's a little like instead of getting in our head. I mean, I love your story about a sign, but if that works enough for you, you start to get stressed when it doesn't work, right? Or like be like, oh, is that a
100%.
sign I shouldn't do it at all? When really,
Yeah.
I feel like we should be flirting with the universe in an exchange.
Yeah.
It's an exchange, not just always asking, give, 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 but like playing back and forth.
Oh my gosh, Tracy, it is an exchange. And I love that because if you were just like, if it were an actual, well, I shouldn't say actual relationship because it is a relationship, but if it were a 3D relationship, you wouldn't just expect to just be like sitting back and just getting all the little texts and messages and cards mailed to you and flowers sent to you and you not do anything, right? You would do things in return.
Pull. Or the other entity is going to stop. It's going to think you're disinterested and that they're a creep.
Exactly. So what do you so how so what is the response or what is it just like, hey, thanks, or I love you too, or what?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're nailing it.
I'm
You're
sending you an 1111 right now.
I receive your 1111 and I give you, it's gonna be a great day. Thank you more, please. Right? Like it's, I guess, okay, so a flirt indicates interest, right?
Yeah.
And so are you interested in the relationship with the universe, like you said, and having it manifest in the 3D? And so I think you have to flirt back through action instead of the waiting and interpreting of signs.
Oh, this really ties into the last episode.
And it wasn't planned. We did this so separate. But yeah, so that what we've called it like inspired action before,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Um and so everything you were kind of saying earlier, you were just kind of spitballing, but yeah. So if you get a compliment, right? If the universe is telling you
Yeah.
something, compliment it back. Just say thank you, right? Like so many people receive compliments or like praise or whatever and they just put up like no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh, this
defend.
old thing, I got it from the Goodwill,
Oh my
or
god, you like my
no.
hair? Your hair is so
Yeah,
much prettier. Just say thank you, right?
exactly.
Like take
Yeah.
just receive, right? So like that's the huge thing about flirting. You got to receive it. Even whether or not you're going to give it, if it's going to keep being reciprocal, you got to receive what's given to you, right?
Well, and this makes me think about being open. We've talked about this before as well. Being open, being receptive to something. So if you're open to these winks, these joy nudges that you mentioned, I love that so much. So if you're open to those, I feel like then the universe is going to be like, what else would she be open to?
Whereas I feel like when we sit and ask for signs, which there may still be a time and a place for that, but we're overly scripting. Like
Yeah,
how much room is there in that give me a sign for blah 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 is there for the universe to give you something better, something more. Um,
It reminds me of playing Barbies with my daughter when she was, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. And I would say something. She'd be like, no, no, mom, you have to say this. And she has to wear this. And then you have to do this. And so she overly scripted.
you're just
Sorry,
a body.
Jackie. And I was just like, okay, let me just
That's
do
every
this
kid,
for
not
you.
just Jackie.
Right, exactly. At that time frame, because they're just like, no, this is the story and this is how it has to go. Whereas I remember one time with my older son, Joey, we were playing with, I don't know, trucks and GI Joes or whatever. And I was just, sorry, bored. I was really bored. I was like, oh, please.
I mean, you're
And
probably a
I
woman
just
in your 30s.
decided
Why
to
wouldn't you
go
be
off.
bored?
Yeah, I decided to go off script. And then I was just like, oh, I fell off the cliff. Ah. Well, he thought it was the best thing ever because I went off script. And then I just continued. And then we had so much more fun playing. I don't know if that's how the universe
So
works or not.
that makes me think of like, isn't there a rule in improv comedy where it's always a yes and, right?
Yes.
So like if you go into an improv comedy situation and someone takes it somewhere in a different direction than you thought, but you really wanted to do this one joke or this one bit, or you wanted to go in a different way, that it's going to fall so flat for the audience because you're constantly going to be in this arguing or, you know, like back and
Yeah.
forth
Stop
this
arguing
fight.
with the universe.
Flirt, baby. But yeah, so I feel like with that being open, it's having the vision, it's having the affirmations, it's meditating, it is throwing your asks out into the void like I do, but then it's
Yeah.
taking inspired action towards what you hope it means and being just really receptive to the little like joy nudges the universe is giving you, right? Like, are you met with struggle or are you met with like, oh my God, 888? Oh, cool. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Thank you. You're so cute, universe. Thank you. Or like I think I've said it a few times, but my friend, my healer Darcy, she always tells me when something happens good in the world, don't overanalyze it. You know, cute boy texts you, you get a job opportunity, something. It's just thank you more, please. Right? Like just
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
But it's just embracing a positive attitude and outlook. So I looked up and I talked with Chat GPT and other stuff and just Googled like how to flirt. and I want you've already said some of this stuff. You're natural born flirt, Amy. You were just like you were ready with compliments and gratitude and all this stuff. But I thought it would be fun to go through like these lists of common things that like Mind Body Green and even NPR will teach you 6 steps to flirting if you Google it. 17 magazine, like it doesn't matter how old you are or what you're Googling, they all
No.
have the same tips. So you have to be yourself. You can't be this idealized version, going back to what we were just talking about. You have to be who you are, right? You can't fake it. The universe, to go back to what we were saying earlier, they're interested in you. Like they like you.
So you had them at hello.
So a lot of times when we flirt, we focus on how we feel, focus on making the other person feel good, right? So like what can you do in your life that would make the universe feel good? Is you laying around lamenting your bad mood and not doing anything all day gonna make the universe feel good? Make the universe want to hang out with you? Make the universe want to wink at you? I don't know, maybe. I mean, if you don't want
So
to, we don't always have to be in a flirtatious relationship with someone, but if you want this to continue, get up, take a shower, show up on time. Like
okay. I'm laughing over here, covering my mouth, laughing.
crying.
If you haven't listened to episode 122, it would be quite funny to listen to that and then to come back to this one and go, oh, Amy, here's part of your answer.
The universe is flirting with you through my podcast notes.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you. More, please.
Here's something though, when you're flirting with the mystical entity, the cosmic universe, or just another being, ask thoughtful questions.
I love that because I don't want to just be thought of as like I'm just here for fun and giggles, right?
And also, how thoughtful is, should I apply for that job? Does this man really like me? Should I get a different car? Like those are things you do want signs and answers to, but is that
Yeah, but they're not
really related
thoughtful.
to how you want to feel, the life you want to lead, right? Like how
So
can
what
you
question would you ask? Tell me a thoughtful question.
well think about how you have people phrase tarot card questions to you, right? Like
Oh, yes, you're right.
I think a bit more open-ended than show me a sign if I should marry this man, right? Like
Yes.
show me a blue car, right? Like, and then you never see another blue
Mhm.
car that day. Does that mean you shouldn't get married? Does it mean that that really, right? Like, that's a lot. That's a loaded question
Right.
for yes or no. Um,
What would be my next? But then I think about, so an open question could be something like, what could be the next best step for me? But then how do you receive the answer?
how do you receive the answer? That's
Right.
another episode.
Yeah, okay. Well, here's a thought. The more receptive you become with this sort of flirtatious back and forth with the universe, I think the more receptive you will be to actually hear, see, realize what the answer is to that you'll be more open to understanding when an answer drops in.
And also, I think the key to this in this interaction, you're flirting. Keep it playful, keep it fun, right? Like, this is not the weight of your entire life. It is Tuesday. It is
It's not
Tuesday.
Thursday.
Thursdays are different. Thursdays you can sink into the weight of your life. The other 6 days of the week, it's just have some fun. We're on a floating rock, spinning around a ball of fire, right? Like a dying star. But like, yeah. So be spontaneous. And then going back to thoughtful question, be curious, right? Like be curious. Don't be so tied to the outcome you want.
Okay, I actually love that. So I love that be curious. And I think that curiosity is the key to so many things, and perhaps also to episode 122, Amy. But I think that to be curious, like, wouldn't that be wonderful to just be like, what do you want me to do now? And then just like have something happen, and you're like, okay.
Or
Or
instead of what do you want me to do? I'm going to do XYZ. Do you want to join me? And then look for the little winks. Look for the little winks. And if you're not getting winks, pivot to a different fun thing related to what
yeah.
you want to achieve and be like, you want to join me over here? I'm going to go to this. I'm going to be at this location. No pressure. Hit me and my friends up. But, maybe we'll see you there. Okay. So yeah, going back to like taking basic flirting in the 3D in real life tips, and like how to engage cosmically. So be willing to make the first move. How many of us are waiting for a sign before we do something?
Oh my gosh, waiting for a sign, waiting for inspiration,
Get
waiting for the
fresh with the
muse.
universe. Be fresh with
I
your life.
love it. Get fresh with the universe. I want a t-shirt.
Write it down for future merch. Oh my god. Trademark ours. Copyright. That's how this works, right? um keep it cash, keep it casual. Here's one that we just talked about that I'm working on personally for other reasons, but pay attention to your body language.
uh,
Are you telling the universe and asking for signs, saying you're open to a fun new change? Well, you are curled up, tensed up in
if you
a
can't see what we're doing, both of us have our hands crossed across our chest. We're very much in ourselves, not open to anything.
so yeah, loosen it up. Dance, right? That could be flirty.
I love dancing. And that I think that that's a wonderful way to flirt with the universe is dancing through your body. I love that.
And I don't think we talk about it enough, but having a body is a big deal.
Yeah,
And
no, I
so
don't
like
mean to laugh, but yes, we don't talk about it enough.
we don't. And it's it's such a tool when it comes to manifesting your desires. And so much of everything we do when it comes to manifesting, visioning, affirmations, we keep in our inside voice in our head. Maybe some of us
Yes.
use our outside voice to say it, maybe some of us journal it, but such a mind process. And it's like mind, body, soul, man. Like, get into it. I just picture like the beginning of Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie when they first meet in like kind of a tropical country or something like that, and she's just
Mhm.
dancing in the rain, right? Takes a shot, drops it in a flaming trash can, and just dances and is
Yeah.
flow, right? Like, and then Brad Pitt's the universe, right? Not to make this super heterosexual, but like, and he's super entranced because she's just like her authentic self, fully in it, not overthinking it, keeping it fun. Okay, so we already talked about offering a thoughtful compliment, but yeah, say something nice about the universe. Say something nice about yourself. You are the universe.
Such a good point, Tracy. That is such a good, not to get too meta, but you are. Yes.
They also say open a real conversation.
I feel like that has a lot to, yes, a real conversation. And that ties in with curiosity and thoughtful questions, right?
Mm-hmm. And then here's where the little flirtation and the winks come into play. Pay attention to how they're responding.
I love it so much because this is like how to really flirt,
Uh-huh.
but we're talking about how to really flirt with the universe. And
It
you
translates,
do.
man. I didn't intend for this. It was like this is where the show's going now.
No, I love it so much. And this is part of that being able to receive is if you're not paying attention to how there's response, you're not going to receive the things that you want to receive. I love that. Okay.
And then one of the final things was don't overdo it.
Oh dear.
So, as we learned in the signs episode, Tracy has a too much gene. It comes out all the time. I love a theme. I love to just go for things. But sometimes you can overdo it and you can over pursue things, or especially with flirting, right? Like consent is key, and you want to make sure the universe is in on this with you. And um, don't throw everything out there all at once, right? It's a playful exchange. Take your time, have fun. With that, though,
Okay. Oh dear.
just like what we were talking about with asking for a sign and not getting it, when it comes to flirting in any capacity, there's potential for rejection. And you
Hmm.
have to be okay with not being received.
Yeah.
It takes
That
courage to flirt, right? It takes confidence, Cohen, to steal from the OC.
it does take confidence and courage, but I would also say that yes, you it might feel like rejection, but maybe it's just rejection for that day or that thing, or
Well, it's
I
just
don't
that
think that
it's
the
not.
universe is going to totally reject you.
Well, and that's just it. So let's say you flirt with someone and they're not feeling it. They don't flirt back, or they kind of reject you politely, right? Nicely, or even if they do it a little mean. It's not a rejection of self. It just means they don't want to flirt with you. You are
Ah,
still valid and worthy and okay as a person, right?
yes.
So like just same thing with the signs. The whole point of this is to not put too much weight on it, right? So if you're not getting your winks, if you're not feeling in flow with the universe, just take a step back. Be like, oh, that's okay. That's okay. You're not into it right now. That's fine. Right? Don't take it personally.
I feel like then if you get rejected, or you, I don't want to say get rejected, but you're not feeling the winks back, that's a perfect time to do some of that inspired action that you were talking about. Or were you just going to talk about that? Okay. I feel like it's the perfect time to do some of that inspired action, to do some meditation, to do some walks in nature, to write some affirmations to maybe not flirt, but to send gratitude to the universe. So it's just an actual like, hey, thanks for your time. Like,
Yeah. And I think Alan Watts, among probably many other people, but say, to be interesting, be interested, right? So same goes if you're on a dating app, if you're flirting and failing, if you're striking out with whatever you're trying to get in the world, just go live your life. Just go be you. Go do things. And maybe the universe will be like, "Oh, hey, who are you? How you doing?" Right? Like let like maybe you don't have to be the, we do want you earlier, like I said, make the first move, but like if nothing's happening in response, like just wait a little bit. Just go live your life. Go be interesting by being interested in something, anything other than whether or not the universe is giving you a sign, like we talk about in episode 56, where Tracy drives around her neighborhood looking for the sign because she just knows the universe
Okay,
wanted her to just keep turning left.
and can I just say, I feel like the universe does not respond to desperation, just like in real life situation, partner, people flirting with someone else. I can remember my mother saying this to me. This was, now just remember, this was the 70s, okay? And I was going out and she's like, don't go in like feeling desperate for anyone's attention. Have fun, be yourself. And I tell you what, that night, I feel like I was just like a magnet. I do. That one night, that one time in 1979 or something.
Just once in your life, sure.
Yeah. But I don't feel like the universe does respond to desperation.
So kind of opposite to that, one of my shameful memories that like you're trying to fall asleep and your brain is like, hey, remember about this time when? One of those memories. So I went to a younger sibling's bachelorette party. I was not a bar hopper, not a clubber. Didn't feel comfortable in my body, didn't have the clothes I would have wanted to wear, and I didn't want to be there, but I wanted to be a supportive sister, right? And they knew this about me, and I'm an introvert and just social anxiety and just hanging out like that in a group situation where it's mostly strangers or family didn't scream fun to me, right? I wasn't feeling open, receptive, 30, flirty, and thriving. I was feeling a bit lame and awkward and weird. And I leaned into that. I didn't, so instead of feeling desperate, I was super defensive and protective of myself. And I feel really bad because I remember these two men trying to flirt with me and me just shutting it down in not a real funny, fun way. And also not participating because I put too much weight on what they were doing, right? Like they were probably just trying to have fun, trying to practice. Who knows if they meant it or not, right? Like you just go out and you have fun. But I had already decided in my head that night, you're not having any fun. And that
Oh,
everything about me, I blocked my own blessings. I was the one doing the rejection without intending to, because when it comes down to it, I wanted to have fun, right? Like who doesn't want to have fun? For whatever reason, I decided it wasn't meant for me. And I kind of became determined that that was so. And then after the second awkward, weird encounter, I just looked at my sisters and I was like, okay, I've been here now, or bye now. Like everyone was just like, yep, you did a good job, Tracy. You lasted longer than we thought you would. And then I went on my way. But yeah, I was really defensive and protective of myself from flirting. That's no fun.
no, that isn't fun. But it's so interesting that you're like, yeah, I blocked myself from having fun, from flirting, because I didn't think I was going to have fun. So you blocked yourself from having fun.
And then I also see people in the 3D relationships, but I think it could translate to the universe. They're being way too specific in how they want to be pursued.
Yeah.
Instead of just allowing themselves to be pursued. And so I think you get in your own way that way too.
I think we get in our own way with specificity a lot, even though it's sort of it's sort of like sometimes we're told be as specific as possible about this thing, right? And then in other ways we're told be open to whatever possibility is out there and be open-ended and whatever. And so I do feel like specificity blocks us from other things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to that scripting. It goes to if I should pursue this college, this career path with this employer in this time frame, show me the number 17134 on the side of the next truck that passes me. Oh, didn't happen. That's not my life. I shouldn't do those things. Right? Like, how
Yeah.
many of it, like, when you ask for a sign, you put like 19 things in there, right? Instead of just like one question.
Right. Right. And so I feel like, is there a part of you that doesn't actually want to be doing those things? And that's why you're being so specific with the universe and asking for a specific sign. I don't know.
Yeah, I prefer like these flirtations. Like, now, if I'm going to ask for a sign, it's going to be like, oh, universe, if I'm not alone in the world, show me my special thing, right? Because like for a while, I had this one number that it started showing me out of the blue that I related it to something, and I was taking that as confirmation that was the thing. And then I started looking for confirmation all the time, right? And then it didn't really come, or sometimes it would come, and I get excited, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like that self perpetuating cycle of like reinforcement of what it means. And then I accepted it wasn't going to mean that anymore. And then just out of the blue, I started seeing it again. And I was like arguing with the universe, like, stop showing me this ever again. I don't care what you think it means. I don't care what I think it means. I just want to not see it for a bit. And it didn't stop. And so now, instead of being upset with the universe or being triggered into what I thought it used to meant, now I'm like, you cheeky little bastard. Hey, now it doesn't get me down. Now I'm just like, hi, universe, how are you? Like, thank you. Cheeky little son of a bitch. Like, hello. You knew this would get my attention, didn't you?
Okay, I think we need to start calling the universe different names.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
Can
it.
you think of any times you've been flirtatious with the universe?
You know, I saw that question and I've
Yeah.
been trying to think about if, because I don't think that I would have worded it that way. So I'm not sure. I feel like this is something I have to think about. How about you? Have you been flirtatious? I mean, I feel like a little bit more now, ever since you kind of shared with me, or we agreed that from now on, like angel numbers were just like, hey, thanks. Like, so then I guess that would be a little bit flirtatious, but more kind of friendly flirtatious.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been more on the receiving end. I'm a bit of a tease, maybe. I haven't really been reciprocating. And so now, when you've asked me like some of these questions, like, how would you be thoughtful? How would you? I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on this. This is a skill set I'm gonna have to develop. But it's certainly way more fun than like seeing numbers or running into people or different things happening and just having it, in my head, what does it mean? You know, it's more fun to just like wink back when you see the license plate or you walk by the 444 on the clock, right?
It's
Like,
just that whole thing where it's just the less stress. I love it. I love it so much. But I also feel like it's a nod that still have a part to play, right? I get to be fun back. So I love that.
yeah, I'm not screaming into the void anymore. um
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say, while we've been recording, the two times I've actually looked at either our rundown clock, the time left clock, or the time we've been clock, it's been 222 and 555. And so, hey. Oh,
Yeah.
something just flew out. Usually I don't like to do that, but ooh, I would not have thought of this as a flirty card. So we're gonna do a tarot card pull at the end of every episode again, but you're gonna have to go to our Instagram reel story to hear an interpretation of
Okay.
it.
And this is so funny. I didn't know that you were going to be doing the poll because I did it as well. So I want to see what you got. Two
Three,
cards
two,
flew
one, show.
out.
So I got the Queen of Swords. What'd you get?
I got two cards popped out. I got the Ace of Swords and the
The
Sun.
Sun. And that's
So,
what I was kind of hoping to get was the
but
sun.
here, don't worry though. I still will interpret the Queen of Swords as well
Okay.
on reels. I'll do all three cards for the reel for this show.
I know it's going to be so hard not to start speculating in the episode like we used to and immediately diving
I
into what we
know.
thought it means.
I had to like be like, no, not yet. Because I immediately wanted to be like, see how the queen is. Oh no, no, stop it.
Oh, so yeah. So let us know also on socials, how has the universe been flirting with you? What winks have you been receiving or noticing that you're willing to share? So if you go on our Instagram, every episode kind of has like a title card, put it in the comments there. I'd love to see that.
Oh, I'd love that too. Thanks, everyone. And if this episode spoke to your soul, please share it with a friend. And if you have time, give us some love on your preferred platform with a rate, review, and subscribe. You can also reach out to us via Instagram and YouTube under The Brightly Podcast or via email at brightlypodcast@gmail.com.
And with that, we hope you have a bright and beautiful day.